darlings. Bunny Galore here, the queen of the cult movies, and welcome to another episode of Bunny and the Beast. I am here with the icon himself. It's the Beast.
The meaty mess themselves. Yes. Meaty mess.
Meaty mess.
With
Ooh.
the matriarch of mess. The queen mother of mess.
I like matriarch.
Do you like matriarch?
I like matriarch, yeah. That's
Okay.
very cool.
We'll indoctrinate you.
I am the queen
mother.
mother as well, obviously, but I think in this sad little universe that you have, Beast, I feel like I'm the matriarch.
In this sad little universe is what I just call life.
Oh, I'm being harsh on him already just because I know he's going to be harsher on me, so I thought I might as well start.
Literally, knives out straight away.
How have you been, my darling?
I've been good. This week has been a really nice week of everything feeling just a bit lighter.
You know, it's such an English thing to say, but it's the weather.
No,
It's
it is.
where it is. And
sad is a real thing.
Yeah.
Seasonal affective disorder is a real thing. I think I really suffer with
it's
that.
got worse. I swear it's got worse. I don't remember being I hate talking about the pandemic nowadays, but pre-2020.
Panny D.
Yeah. Oh, that's hideous. That sounds
The
like
pandemic.
Panny D. It sounds like
The pandemi Lovato.
words like that. Oh, hideous. It's like words like that and influencer and oh God, it just makes me want to scratch my skin off.
Influencer.
Oh.
Don't even know her.
Ugh. Triggered.
Literally, always.
No, it's really true. And I think we just noticed the weather so much more in 20 because we were just staring at it, I think. And I think I remember going, when did it get lighter? When did it get dark? As if it's never happened for the last, however
Yes.
long, and in my life, several centuries. And it's so weird. I just feel like I'm noticing it for the very first time. It's like weird. Why is it? But I think it is because we were just noticing the weather so much more because we had nothing else to do.
Sometimes I miss it. No, obviously I don't miss the pandemic and the death and all that stuff, but sometimes I really don't miss that.
Don't miss it. The plague of 1666. I do miss that.
But I miss sometimes
what?
being like,
Use your words. Come on, talk me through it.
brain, come on, work, formulate. Sometimes I miss the not having responsibility. Like it was the
Right.
good part of it was for me was like
Okay.
it just let you have pause.
I would imagine so. A lot of dramatic stuff was happening to me around that time, so it made it worse
Oh, okay.
for me because I had more responsibility suddenly. I had to become a parent to my mother, who was diagnosed with dementia. So therefore, it was suddenly I was the grown up, and
Yeah.
I have no idea how to be a grown up whatsoever.
I have no idea how to be a human being.
No.
No.
You really don't.
No, I really don't.
You really, really don't. It's quite frightening that you don't. Actually.
Yeah, I walk on all fours all day, howling to the moon.
Now that you do. Mum.
I have no clap back because facts are facts. But how are you? What's new with you? What's new from the week?
Well, this week, because we're recording kind of closer to the episodes lately going out, so it's actually quite nice we can actually talk about our lives. I was doing this photo shoot.
Sorry, listeners.
Oh, yeah, so sorry. I apologise now. It's there is a helpline if you need any reassurance.
0800
Yeah.
6969.
And that goes to Owen Mallon, who apparently, by the way, I'm going to shame him on this podcast because apparently I was in Soho last night, leaving one restaurant to go to see a friend perform in cabaret, and he's told me off that he was waving at me and saying hello, Martin, the real name of Bunny Galore, and I don't remember.
But also apparently that you walked past him on the street.
Yes,
And
how do I not hear that dulcet Irish accent?
it's not a voice that would send a child to sleep.
Just had a coughing fit off microphone then. That
You don't need to deep throat the microphone,
Oh my
grandmother.
God, yeah, yes. That is an excellent description, and he will kill us. Anyway, so I was out with Candy Hills yesterday doing a Pride photo shoot, first Pride thing I've done in ages, actually. And it was super fun, but it was being in drag. I haven't been in drag for quite a while, quite intentionally, because I'm enjoying not doing it for a while. But it was, I'm getting to that point of my life and career. But I had a great time with Candy. I had a whale of a time, having high tea at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Or were you just high?
Well, they were giving us champagne before the food.
No Chanel.
No. Christian Chanel. I think she's a drag queen. No, they were giving champagne. It was a bit like, that's an empty stomach, and it's 11 o'clock in the morning now by the time we started shooting. So I was quite tipsy baked potato by about by about 5 minutes in, going like, oh gosh. How was Eurovision for you?
So my entire personality now is Eurovision. Disclaimer, I've never watched Eurovision in full.
No, and nor have I. And I've never watched it live.
Are we terrible gay men?
Yeah, I think we several points have been taken off our licenses.
We should just revoke our membership right away.
I think normally because I'm doing a show. I think, or like, and last year, really, the BGT thing went out on Eurovision night, so it was. And I was working anyway, so I was kind of watching that. It was only after that I realised we were escalating towards the goalpost, as opposed to the shit where we're back where we belong, second from the bottom.
Literally,
it's just a bit like me. I'm second from the bottom here.
Oh!
So.
Okay, I need my sausages kicking because I actually have no retorts.
It's great. I'm loving this. I love it.
You like that I'm speechless for once. You can't usually shut me up.
Thank goodness. Those tablets have really worked.
No.
You grind them up in the in the drink, and he's quiet for hours. It's amazing.
Literally.
It's like Tixie Licks or something.
I'm obsessed with how drunk Catherine Tate was.
Oh, brilliant.
She was on another planet. And didn't she make a Doctor Who reference?
She did, yes, she did.
Alonzi or something.
Yes.
I don't know Doctor Who. It's not my kettle of fish.
Well, funny you should say that, because and before Eurovision, my eyes and ears perked up because they screened a trailer for the specials that are coming out later this year. Yes, so it was like, oh, so I was literally ran off into a corner and watched it on YouTube, going, oh my god, that's amazing. So yes, funny enough, that brings us very neatly. Well done for the segue there into the subject matter for this episode, which is the shows that made us. So, and Doctor Who is definitely one of mine. I think with our lives, there's certain shows that come to us at certain points of life. I'm a kid of the 70s, so I was the perfect age for Tom Baker, the guy with the long scarf, the curly hair.
Okay.
The Fourth Doctor, when he arrived, I literally started watching at that point. So the magic golden slot, the age of that. And it was amazing. It goes downhill slightly in the 80s after it celebrated its 20th anniversary in 83. So as a teenager, I kind of slowly moved away from it. I say slowly, not that slowly. But I
clutching onto it.
I still did. But as a teenager, when you become a teenager, you become a little bit like, oh, it's,
that's not cool.
That's not cool anymore. Especially, and that fell in with the era that everybody kind of fell out of love with a little bit, which was 85 and the Colin Baker era. It was taken off air for about a year and a half. Now the show goes off air about every 2 years and no one blinks. But back in those days when it was on every year for like over 20 years, it was more of a shock to the system. Not that it was a soap, but it was on like 48 weeks of the year back in 1963 out of 52. And then slowly got shorter. The way they made TV changed. So that was a huge influence on me. It taught me about acting. It taught me about special effects. It taught me about cameras. There's something about Doctor Who, I think because you've seen so many people that have gone into the industry. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Russell T Davies is a great example of this, and Stephen Moffat's another one, and Mark Gatiss is another one.
Adore Russell.
Yeah.
Adore Russell. Adore the stuff they write.
Yeah.
Another one of their series is one thing that really influenced me as a child.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
you can carry on.
Well, to round that story off is after the pandemic happened, the first job I did back as a wiggy, as a hair and makeup artist, was Doctor Who live at Bond Street. It was the immersive experience. So that's my first big childhood one. Yeah. What is yours, Doug?
Oh, so my big first childhood one, not segueing from Russell T Davies, because there is a show of his that did really shape me, but if I think about the earliest TV series that shaped me, and I thought about this last week, and actually I think it is the original cartoon of the X-Men.
Oh, right, the ones in the yellow costumes?
Yeah, the one that
yellow and blue.
That one.
Okay.
And I just always was obsessed with the powers and not the violence, but the fighting for justice and all that stuff. And I mean, and the female characters were also amazing. So I have a tattoo on my forearm, which is the symbol of the Phoenix. The Phoenix is my favorite character in the X-Men universe. It's where the Phoenix takes over the body of Jean Grey and gives her so much power and so much possibility. I mean, also corrupts her and makes her evil, but still. But if I look back on that 90s cartoon, which is coming back actually,
so this is pre the first movies. That's
yeah. Like, oh yes, the movie
99.
Yeah, this is like 80s,
right?
80s, 90s.
That's why I in my head, I wasn't sure if you had seen them back then. I thought you.
Oh no, I watched it. No, I did watch it. Well, when it was on Fox Kids.
Right. Okay. Okay. No, because my flatmate at the time in the early noughties, we both Darcy. Shout out to Darcy. He is much more of a superhero and comic book fan. Just before the movies, the Marvel stuff started. So my education, I'm not that world. But I've got my education from him, so I'd always have to go, what? Who is this, and what are they doing, and why are they dressed like that? Obviously, I know the big characters, but I don't. There's a lot, and X-Men was one of the ones where I went, why is this film so massive? I don't understand. I remember the cartoon, but maybe again in England, perhaps the comics weren't as big to the general public.
Yeah, I'm not a massive comic book one. I just love that series, and I think looking back on it now as a 29-year-old, there's something about this group of people that are completely persecuted and isolated for this thing that they have no control over. This happened to them because of their genetics. It's before they were born. They were born like this. Seeing them probably embrace their power, whatever capacity that is, to try and make the world a better place. I think looking back on that, I think I really resonated with that because it's like we live in a world where gay people were persecuted. Gay people have been isolated and shamed for this thing that I didn't choose this. I mean, I'm glad I have this life, but because to be straight would be really boring and really dull. If you are straight and you do listen to this podcast, you are an honorary homo. You are. But looking back on it, I'm just like, there was something in that of, there's this thing I can't control, but I'm going to do my best to make the best out of it. And I look back on that now as a 29-year-old, I'm like, oh, is that why? Because I felt a certain way for being gay. Like I didn't know what was gay. I knew it was different.
Yes.
And try to hide that difference. And some people can pass and hide, and some people can't, just like some of the X-Men.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'd never really got that analogy before. So that's our childhood ones. What would you think the grown-up ones would be for you? You see Queer as Folk?
Yeah.
I think mine would be the same.
Queer as Folk.
I remember you then at that point. Did you not see it then?
I would never have seen it probably when it aired. I don't know the actual air date on it, but
99.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would have been
careful. Steady now. Sang, do you have the stick over there? Just
to beat me with.
Our producer is standing by with a cane just in case. Out of line.
I was 6. I was 6.
Oh, that's fine. No, 6 is fine. That's okay. I thought you were going to say 6 months.
Oh,
no,
I am millennial, but I'm not Gen Z side.
I'm 20. I'm 28. I'm about to be 29. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
Oh, you're only a year younger than me. That's fine.
Oh, I'm in the room with 2 millennials. Send help now, please.
Bunny's lost.
Oh, God.
On the way to the home.
Yeah. Yeah, because they God help millennials if they can't. Jesus, they have to have issues. They have to have like 7,000 of them. Anyway, carrying on.
I remember hearing about Queer as Folk. I remember probably streaming it. Probably I must have been like 13 or something.
Sure.
On certain ways. I don't know. But when obviously family probably in the house, so I was like the volume was like super turned down, super low, and I was like pressed up.
You were watching Queer as Folk at 13. That's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially that first episode.
Wow, literally.
That's an awakening.
And then it escalates. Yeah. But it's like, I just remember seeing that and just going, some sort of fire or some sort of something bubbled.
Yeah.
I was going to say bubbled within inside me. That's not an innuendo.
No, I'm resisting with all the power in my body not to say anything.
Yes, by the power of Gay Skull.
Oh, that's what was bubbling inside.
He-Man.
Yes.
I was more She-Ra fan, actually, but is that really?
I bet you were.
I bet you were.
Yeah. Of course, you're a She-Ra fan.
Yes, loved She-Ra.
She's amazing as well.
And then I really, but that was like one of like the private moments when I watched that, and I was like,
Clang.
okay,
Rock
yeah.
roll.
Clang, roll. Oh, so growing up, always feeling different and not knowing what that was, and going, oh, and then segue on to the live on. I can't be this. This is not okay. I don't want to be this. And
Really?
yes,
I never had that. I just thought this is such an only child thing. I'm right. Everybody else is wrong. I was literally like, what? It's. I don't know how, particularly since I was doing.
You could have done with some siblings, actually.
Yeah. Oh, I have hundreds of younger brothers now. We're looking at the worst example right in front of us here.
Fair.
Do you want to contend that particularly?
Not without my lawyer present.
No, it's true. In all seriousness, I have a chorus line of younger brothers over the line. When you realize you're doing something, you're replacing something in your life. I just went, oh my God, there's hundreds of them. GW also says like, oh, you've got another action figure to put on the shelf. Yeah, there we go. So there we go, Beast. You go to next to Tom Scanlon on the shelf there.
I'm definitely not in mint condition.
No, not in box.
Not in box.
Chewed,
used and abused.
Chewed, played with. My God, you are. That's really quite frightening. Yeah, Queer as Folk is definitely one of those for me. But obviously I'm older, so I had moved to London in the mid-90s, and Queer as Folk, you really don't realize how revolutionary that was.
It was huge.
TV was not made. You did not see gay characters like that on TV.
No,
you just didn't.
That reveled in, that loved their sexuality, or that were really showed the sides of being promiscuous, or being club culture, or being the monogamous, heteronormative one. Like it showed snapshots of gay life that was huge. That was never on TV because you were always
really wasn't.
You were it was either you were the funny friend or you're the sassy bitchy friend.
Yeah. Well, not even that. Before that, you were the victim. Yeah, you were the sad one. You were the one that you die at the end. That's still happening, by the way, in film and TV.
And they're all played by straight men as well.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, which I don't mind. I don't care because it's called acting. I'm not I don't really look like this behind me.
She really doesn't.
In everyday life,
days.
That's a lot of padding and corsetry and.
When people think Bunny and the Beast, they're really not sure sometimes.
No, I'm definitely the Beast. And this. Well, there's a long list I could.
There's not enough time.
Exactly. It's not a 4-hour podcast. No, it was such a revolution, that show, just to see how real gay life was. So obviously I was living that life kind of at the time, and I'm kind of the age of the characters, but I think it was on a Tuesday night maybe, and me and my friend Carl, we were living, I was living with a load of actors after drama school, and we would go out afterwards because we were that fired up to go, like, not exactly that rock and roll, but
go to Babylon.
I know, we wanted to have that life. I finally went to Babylon, the nightclub they use as a location in the UK TV version. Manchester Pride a couple of years ago. It was so weird. I was like standing there going, this is it. This is so mad being here finally. Previously to that, though, I would say, and was my London show of all things, which is very, very mainstream, really, is Friends. Weirdly.
Yeah. I think that shapes a lot of us.
I think it does, doesn't it? For me, it was, I had arrived in London, and one of the flatmates I was living with had, in the days of not catch up, you had to record things still. So
on a VHS.
Yeah, I think it was. Don't even joke. I think it was before DVD recorders. We'd gone. She was going out. She was working, or she was going out, and she said, "Could you record this show? It's just come back for a second series, and it's a new thing." I think they probably showed season 1 and 2 back to back on Channel 4, but I'd never heard of it. And she went, I went, "What's it called?" I went, "Oh, Friends." I went, "Okay." So I sat there watching it, and I still remember the episode. It's the one where Julie has arrived, Ross's girlfriend, after being in love with Rachel for the whole of season 1, and season 2, Rachel's in love with Ross.
Yeah.
So I had to try and work out who everybody was from this episode. And I was going, okay, so they're brother and sister. Jerry, are they a couple? Jerry and Chandler? I can't work it out. Couldn't figure that out. And it's just, I still remember that episode particularly. And then, but for me, I know Friends is very overexposed.
It's
but,
huge.
but because it's so good, in my head, the casting is perfection, and the delivery of the dialogue is incredible. The 6 leads made that show run for that length of time because they make any script work.
Yeah.
How did you come across it originally?
Well, I had older siblings, and I think it was more my older sister would probably watch it, and it was when they used to do double bills of it on E4. I remember when the last series was. I remember when the last series was coming out. That I actually remember when that was airing. Obviously, I didn't understand all the jokes because I would have been like 10. I would have been like 10.
Also quite American, a lot of it. So
Yeah.
I remember having to ask a lot of American friends with Friends and Will and Grace, and what foods they were talking about and things like that, because we weren't used to Twinkies and we weren't used to.
Well, you
Twinks.
love a Twinkie.
I do love a twink. Yeah. I'm trying to stop that now, but it's getting
Yeah,
very tiring.
toxic traits is not the theme of this episode.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, it is. Isn't it? Sorry, just having a little mini epiphany then.
Literally.
Mid-sentence.
Which one do you think you are?
In Friends, Phoebe. I'd say I'm quite a Phoebe.
Would you really?
Who would you cast me as?
Monica's mum.
I would take that. I love her. Yes.
And I think when I've had food with some friends and I'm like, oh, I'm actually really full. And they literally quote, it's from one of the Thanksgiving episodes, go, well, Judy, you did it. She's finally full.
So I don't think I've ever eaten with you, so I'm a bit scared. I didn't realize you were such
a sight. It's a sight.
Hulk smash.
Literally, I'm like
legs of mutton.
Literally, and then I eat the cutlery and then the table.
Well, you work out a lot. You've got to keep that up, haven't you?
Yeah. I remember growing up thinking I was Ross. Silence. Yeah. Delusional 13-year-old. And now I look back on it and I'm like, you are stupid. Well, that's not news. But I look back on it and I was like, oh, you're just Joey. You're so Joey.
Yeah.
Or
or
I feel like I'm a Joey Rachel hybrid.
I think at this point in your life, you probably are. I was going to say Ross's monkey.
Yeah. Okay. To
be fair, he's got quite a good career.
He has a better career than me.
Outbreak 2.
If I threw my feces, maybe we'll see how famous I'd be. Probably for the wrong reasons.
Enough of the Yoni fans, anyway.
Another show that I know definitely shaped us is the words can't describe the show enough, but Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, no, I was about to do the same thing because I discovered it around the same time as it's 1999-2000 with Queer as Folk. I think I've said it on this podcast before that there's certain shows I got into because if they're on after you've done a musical show, like so you get home from the theatre about 11ish.
Yeah, it was this one.
It's you get into those shows, and Buffy was being shown at that point. I think season 2, where it'd be shown at 6, slightly a cut down version, which I think a lot of kids got into it in that era. But they also showed it at say about 12 o'clock at night, which is perfect. Twice a week, I think. So, and weirdly, talking of Darcy earlier, we didn't know each other then. We weren't flatmates, but 2 years previous, before we moved in together, he'd started on exactly the same episode, which is the angel becoming. Oh, my name is Kendra. Kendra's first episode.
So when we talk about Kendra, the Vampire Slayer,
kind of like. Is it Jamaican? Is it Irish? Is it maybe Catford? I don't know.
Who knows? I think it's a multitude of voice training.
It's a choice. Isn't it? There's a lot of choices accent-wise in Buffy, and I love each and every one.
I remember Kendra very well because I remember that's when I was watching it. I would have been younger, would have been far too young to watch this. But so growing up, me and my brother, for some reason, to this day, I actually don't know, could not be in the same room as me. Like he would hate.
I have the same feeling right now.
Yeah, he would hate my presence. He would hit me to get out of the room. Again, probably just like now. But the Kendra series is something like we brought us together. Me and my brother used to reenact the fight scenes.
Oh, I see.
And looking back on this, I'm like, yay, brother wants to spend time with me. We're bonding. And we were bonding. But the fight scene we would reenact was Kendra versus Drusilla. I think the only reason my brother wanted to do this is so he could slit my throat with his fingernail. Because that's how she died.
She is. Yes, it is. I've forgotten about that. Yes.
Yeah, it's like... and then Faith was born.
Yeah.
We love Faith. The lesbian storyline. The lesbian coding of Buffy and Faith's relationship was massive. There's one really, I don't know the lesbian version of homoerotic scene. Lesbioerotic.
That's my new favorite word, everybody.
Lesbioerotic. Yeah, baby. It's when Faith had killed someone there and Buffy's like, you want to hit me? You want to get me? And she's literally got against the wall. I'm like, this is hot.
I
probably would have wanted to be Sarah Michelle or Faith or both.
Oh, both. Yeah.
I remember it ending. Again, it would have been 2000 and it probably was like 2003.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
3 or 4 because I remember watching the final episode again. I was 10 years old. And I literally I just remember the thing I remember so vividly is watching Alison Hannigan, Willow, and she going, "Oh my goddess," and the white hair. And you go, "Oh my days!"
It's so quotable. The "I owe you pain" when she goes Dark Willow.
Oh, Dark Willow is one of my favorites.
I love Faith's reaction to when she clocks that she's become a lesbian. She goes, "Oh, you're not driving stick anymore." That was one of my favorite little sides. Perfect casting, perfect delivery. Oh my God, Anya,
Emma Caulfield
charisma as well. Emma Caulfield, charisma.
It might be bunnies, or maybe midgets.
People ask me sometimes, does Bunny Galore come from that line in Buffy? And it's like, no, it doesn't, but I wish it did. It's a much better story.
And I think there's just something about, again, with Buffy, it's again super strong female lead, but actually has the power to change the world. But you learn through all the series that even though she knows she's like the chosen one, she's the chosen one, she couldn't have done any of this without the support of her friends.
Yes, it's very the Scooby Gang is central to it all.
Literally took the words out of my mouth. And going on from strong female characters again, Will and Grace, like I think every gay man resonates with Karen Walker because she's just one glamorous, fabulous, hilarious, but also has that promiscuity, has that little tarty vibe, but has also got such class about her.
Again, it's just incredible casting, great delivery, impeccable. I love the revival of that as well. The 3 extra seasons they did. I love that revival.
I did enjoy it. It's obviously, to me, it's not as good as the original first.
No, but I have to say the later seasons of the original run aren't always that great. So no. I think if you compare it to the first few seasons, yes, it's a bit like Ab Fab. It's like the first 3 seasons. People who didn't like the movie. I really enjoyed the movie of Ab Fab, but people are going, "Oh, it's not good as the original series." Like, yeah, you didn't see season 4 and 5, then, did you? Because it's kind of more of a contemporary. It's more because I think the characters are going older and
they grow, they adapt.
Like in Ab Fab, Safi's now not a teenage girl anymore. She's so it's like that kind of loses the dynamics of the characters a little bit. But Will and Grace, absolutely incredible.
And Will and Grace really helps me as well because it's seeing these.
Do you see yourself as a Jack or a Karen? I see you as a Jack. We all think we're Karen. We actually are Jack.
Yeah. It's seeing all these queer centric people loving their lives and embracing their queerness, embracing their gayness. I'm like, gave me real strength growing up. Again, delusional James thought he was Will. not Will. If I was out of the main four, I'd want to be Karen, but I'm more Jack. But then my friend was like, "You're just Vince. You're actually Vince." Who is Will's husband?
The
police officer.
Yeah, that's
Like-
not shabby.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll take that.
That's great. He was amazing. I love that actor. I think he's just such great. He will do a queer role, then he'll do a like a macho sort of gun-toting movie, and then he'll go back to another queer role. I love his choices in his career. I think he's brilliant.
Who do you think you are?
In Will and Grace, I'm Grace. I'm Grace.
I was going to say you're Grace's mom.
It's Debbie Reynolds.
Debbie Reynolds.
Yes, please.
Doing your one-woman musical of the music person.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. No. I got Owen called me and one of my best friends, Will and Grace, and I've never felt so seen. And it explains our relationship totally. I won't go into who that is, but like it's. Yeah, I suddenly felt
because it's your other personality. It's your other face.
No, I'm the other person I won't talk about. It's it literally just made me go, oh my goodness, yes, we are.
Clang.
Yeah, Owen got me good that way. It wasn't really true. But I'll take Debbie Reynolds. Hell yes.
Yes.
Hell yes.
And to finish up, as our Bunny and the Beast game.
Oh yes.
What inanimate object would you be today and why?
I definitely would be the fire